Hi, welcome to my tutorial. Kindly subscribe to my channel, like the video before we start. Today we are going to solve Cambridge GCSE Paper 4 Extended, Variant 4-3, May-June 2018. Let's begin. In Part A, Rowena buys and sells clothes. A1, she buys a jacket for $40 and sells it for $45.40. Calculate the percentage profit. Whenever you want to find the percentage of profit or percentage loss, there's a formula you need to know. You will write the difference of the two numbers on the top and divide it by the original and multiply by 100. So we will write the difference of 45.40 minus 40 and divide it by 40 because that's the cost price, multiply by 100. It will give us 13.5%. A2, she sells a dress for 42.40, making a profit of 20% on the cost price. Calculate the cost price. Again, there's a formula that you can follow. Cost price multiplied by the change in percentage is equal to the selling price. If you have percentage increase or a profit, you will add 100 plus 20 divided by 100. So cost price multiplied by 1.2 is equal to 42.60. Therefore, cost price is equal to 42.60 divided by 1.2, which will give us $35.50. In Part B, Sarah invests $500 for 15 years at a rate of 2% per year simple interest. Calculate the total interest Sarah receives. For this, you need to know the formula. Simple interest is equal to PRT over 100, where I is your interest, principal is P, rate of interest is R, and time in years is T or N. So we will write down what we have. Our principal is 500, time in years is 15, and the rate of interest is 2. To get the interest, we will just replace the values we got. 500 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 15 over 100, and that will give us $150. So that's your answer. In Part C, Thomas has two cars. The value today of one car is $21,000. The value of this car decreases exponentially by 18% each year. Calculate the value of this car after 5 years. Give your answer correct to the nearest $100. Again, there's a formula that you can follow. This is the one that we will be using. If it is decreasing, we write P bracket 1 minus R over 100 N, where P is your starting amount, R is the rate of interest, and N is the number in years. So 21,001 minus, because it is decreasing, rate of interest is 18%, and the time in years is 5. We'll get 7,785. We have to round it to the nearest $100. Look at the number after 7, it is 8. If you have 5 or more than 5, you add 1 to the number you're rounding to. So it will be $7,800. In C2, the value today of the other car is $15,000. The value of this car increases exponentially by X% each year. After 12 years, the value of the car will be $42,190. Calculate the value of X. We are going to use the same formula that we used before with a little difference. As it is increasing, we are going to use this formula. Also, R is not given to us, we have to find it. So let's write down our P is 15,000 1 plus x over 100, the number of years is 12, is equal to, after 12 years, the cost of the car will be 42,190. So we have to basically find x. 1 plus x over 100 is equal to 42,190 divided by 15,000. And the power here is 12. So when we remove the power and give it to the other side, it will be 1 over 12. X over 100 will equal to 42190, 15000 to the power of 1 over 12. The plus 1 will be minus 1. This will give us 0.090. If you want to move the 100 to the other side, because it's a divide, it will be a multiply. Multiply by 100 and you will get x is equal to 9. So that is our answer, x is equal to 9%. Question number 2I. Y is equal to 2 to the power of x. Complete the table. A very easy 2 marks. In place of x, put 0 and you will get 1. And then in place of x, put 4, you will get 16. C2. Y is equal to 14 minus x square. Again, in place of x, put 0. You will get 14. And then in place of x, put 4, you will get negative 2. So this was a very easy 4-mark question. So I have plotted the points. When x is 0, y is 1. When x is 1, y is 2. The blue one is for y is equal to 2 to the power of x. And the red points are for y is equal to 14 minus x square. Now we'll join the points together. This is how your graphs will look after we join the points. In C1, we have to use the graphs to solve the equation. 2 to the power of x is equal to 12. Whenever the equation is equal to something, that is your y. So when y is 12 here, and it touches the graph y is equal to 2 to the power of x at this point. What is that point? It is 3.6. So the answer is 3.6. C2, 2 to the power of x is equal to 14 minus x square. We have to show where the two graphs intersect. They intersect at this point, so your answer is going to be 2.7 approximately. If your answer is between 2.65 to 2.8, it will be accepted. D1. On the grid, draw the line from the points 4 to that has a gradient of negative 4. We'll use the equation of the line y is equal to mx plus c. We already have x, y and the gradient. We just have to find the c. So replacing that, 2 is equal to negative 4 times 4 plus c. 2 is equal to negative 16. When we bring it to the other side, 16 will turn into positive. C is 18. Therefore, our equation of line is y is equal to negative 4x plus 18. Now we have to plot this line. One point has already been given to us, 4 and 2. We have to find another point. When x is, let's say x is 1, what is the value of y? Negative 4 plus 18 will give us 14. So the other point we have found is when x is 1, y is 14. And we already have 4 and 2. We are going to mark them 4 and 2 and 1 and 14. Now we'll join these points together. So this is how your line will look like once we plot the 2 points. D2, complete the statement. This straight line is it's meeting the curve at one point. When it meets the curve at one point, a line, it means it is a tangent. And at which point is it meeting? at this when x is 2 and y is 10. So in this question we have a scatter diagram and the physics marks are given in the x-axis and the chemistry marks on the y-axis. A1, what type of correlation is shown in the scatter diagram? You can see the points are going upward. So that is a positive correlationship. A2, on the scatter diagram, draw a line of best fit. When you're drawing a line of best fit, try to have equal points on either side. So this is your line of best fit. A3, find an estimate of the chemistry mark for another student who has a physics mark of 4. This is the physics mark. When it is 4, your chemistry mark is 2. A teacher records the number of days each of the 24 students in her class are absent. The frequency table shows the result, the number of days and the frequency. Find the mode, median and the mean. Mode is the most repeated number. So from the table we can see the most repeated frequency or the highest frequency is 10 of the number of days is 0. Therefore the mode is 0. To find the median, we divide the frequency by 2. So 24 divided by 2 is 12. This gives us the position of the median. If we are adding the frequencies, so we'll get 10 plus 8, 18, and 0 plus 10, 10. The position 12 is in this bar when the number of days are 1. To find the mean, we have to multiply the number of days by the frequency. 0 multiplied by 10, 0, 8, 6, 6, 4 multiplied by 0, 0, 5 multiplied by 1, 5. To find the mean, we add all the numbers that we got, 0 plus 8 plus 6 plus 6 plus 0 plus 5, and divide it by the frequency, which is 24. And we will get 1.04. So the mean is 1.04. Moving forward, 3 sizes of eggs are sold in a shop. The table shows the number of eggs of each size sold in one day. So we have the size, we have small, medium and large, we have the mass, and we have the number of eggs sold. This is your class width and the number of eggs is your frequency. The first thing we will do is make a table. So we will write the class width in one side and we will write the frequency. When the class width is 46 to 52, the frequency is 78, and the class width is 52 to 62, the class width is the frequency is 180. So we write all that down. Then we find the midpoint of the class width. To find the midpoint, add the two numbers together, 46 plus 52, and divide it by 2. Then 52 plus 62 divided by 2, and 62 plus 80 divided by 2. After this step, multiply the frequency with the midpoint. So 78 multiplied by 49, 180 multiplied by 57, and 162 multiplied by 71. Add the frequency and the midpoint. Multiply by frequency, the total that you have got is this. To find the mean, we take the sum of the midpoint multiplied by frequency and divide it by the sum of the frequency. This will be 25,584 divided by 420, and we will get 60.9. So your estimate of the mean mass is 60.9 gram. There are different cases in which you use different methods to find mean. We did one in this question, one in the previous one, and there is one more. You should be familiar with all the three types. On the grid, draw a histogram to show the information in the table. So this is the information which we have to use to plot the histogram. To draw a histogram, we need frequency density. Before we begin to find frequency density, first we have to find the difference between the two numbers here, the class interval. So 52 minus 46 will give you 6. 62 minus 52 will give you 10, and 80 minus 62 will give you 18. Frequency density is equal to frequency divided by the class width. For the first one, is small, first, second, and third. 78 is your frequency divided by 6 will give you 13. And for the medium, 180 divided by 10 will give you 18, and 162 divided by 18 will give you 162 will give you 9. Now that we have got our frequency density, we can start plotting the histogram. The class width starts from 46, so 46 is here till 52, and the height is 13. Frequency density is your height, so it's going to be somewhere here. You have 12, 13. I have plotted all the bars. The first one was from 46 till 52. 46 till 52, and the height was 13. So that is the first one here. The other one is from 52 till 60 till here, and the height is 18. So we draw the bar till 18. And for the third one, the height is 9, and it is from 62 till 80. So you are done with your histogram. This is a probability question. We have been given two sets of cards, set A and set B. A1, Jojo chooses two cards at random from set A without replacement. Without replacement, it means that you take and you don't put it back. If you don't put back something, the total of that will be reduced by 1. Find the probability that the two cards have the same number. Either it could be 1 and 1 or 2 and 2. When we use the word and, we multiply 1 and 1 or 2 and 2. Or means you add and means you multiply. So probability of getting a 1 is, there are two ones, right? So 2 over 5. Probability of getting a 2 is 3 over 5. The probability of getting 1 and 1 or the probability of getting 2 and 2. The first probability of getting a 1 is 2 over 5. If you have removed 1, 1, how many ones are remaining? 1, 1. And how many total number of cards? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 over 4. Plus, if you are taking the probability of 2, suppose the first card is 2, the probability is 3 over 5. And the second will be 2 over 4. Put this in the calculator and you will get 8 over 20. Simplify it, it is 2 over 5. Jojo replaces the two cards. Kylie then chooses one card at random from set A, so one card from set A, and one card at random from set B. Find the probability that the two cards have the same number. It could be that the first card is 1 from set A. So probability of 1 from set A is 2 over 5, and probability of 1 from set B is 3 over 5. Let's also write down the probability of it being 2. In set A, the probability of it being 2 is 3 over 5, and the probability in B of the number being 2 is 1 over 5. So now we will write the probability of it being 1 in both the sets. In set A and B, 2 over 5 multiplied by 3 over 5 plus probability of it being 2 in set A and B. That will be 3 over 5 multiplied by 1 over 5. This will give you 9 over 25. So that's your probability of having the same number. Here we did not subtract 1 because we are not taking something and not replacing it back. We are taking each one from different sets. Part 3. Who is the most likely to choose two cards that have the same number? Show all your working. So let's write down Jojo and Kylie. The probability of Jojo having the same card is 2 over 5 and of Kylie is 9 over 25. When you have a question like that, cross multiply and see which is bigger. So 2 multiplied by 25 will give you 50 and 9 multiplied by 5 is 45. So which number is big? 50. Therefore, the probability of Jojo choosing the same card is more. In part B, we have been given set C. Lena chooses 3 cards at random from set C without replacement. Find the probability that the third card chosen is numbered 4. In this question, we have to choose 3 cards without replacement. If you make a tree diagram, it will be easier for you to solve it. So let's make the tree diagram. There are 3 branches because there are 3 probabilities. And the first one, let's just write the number. This is 4, 5, 4, 5. And now we are going to write down the probability. So I have written down the probability of all the branches. Let's just go through it. If the first card is 4, the probability of it will be 2 over 5 because there are 2 4s. And the probability of 5 is 3 over 5. This is without replacement, so one card becomes less in the second branch. So 5 minus 1, 4. So your total of each branch is 4. You removed 1 4, 1 4. So now you're going to have 1 4 remaining. So 1 over 4. But the 5s are the same, so it's 3 over 4. The same you will do for all the branches. And you want to find the probability that the third card chosen is numbered 4. So it could be that you have a 4, 4 and a 4, or it could be a 4, 5 and a 4, or we could have a 5, 4 and a 4. And there's also the option of having 5, 5 and a 4. Now just replace what we have found the probabilities here. 2 over 5 multiplied by 1 over 4 multiplied by 0 over 3 plus 2 over 5 multiplied by 3 over 4 multiplied by 1 over 3. I've written down all the probabilities. Now we will add them together. This one, when you multiply it, you get 0. This is 6 over 60 plus 6 over 60 plus 12 over 20. When you add all of them together, you will get 24 over 60. You can simplify it further or leave it like this. 2 over 5 is your answer. In part A, At a football match, the price of an adult ticket is X dollars, and the price of a child ticket is X minus $2.5. There are 18,500 adults and 2,400 children attending the football match. The total amount for the tickets is $320,040. Find the price of an adult ticket. We will have to make an equation. This is the adult ticket X, and there were 18,500 adults, plus the number of children were 2,400, and each ticket cost is X minus 2.50. So times by 2,400 is equal to $320,040. Let's expand it. So 18,500x plus 2,400x minus 2,400 multiplied by 2.5. 6,000 is equal to 320,040. Let us simplify it. Add all the like terms together. We have got 20,900x is equal to $320,040 plus 6,000. And this answer we will divide it by 20,900. And we will get B1, we have to factorize y square plus 5y minus 84. When you want to factorize, you have to identify what is your A, B, and C. A is the number before y square, B is the number before y, and C is the number which does not have a variable with it, which is just a constant. So in this case, our A is 1, B is 5, and C is equal to negative 84. First, we will find the factors of A multiplied by C. A multiplied by C is negative 84. When we find the factors of A multiplied by C, the answer when you add it should equal to B, which is B is equal to 5. These are the factors of 1 multiplied by 84. We didn't put the negative sign. Now we will see which will give us negative. 7 and 12, if I use them, I can get B is equal to 5. My 7 is negative and my 12 is positive. And when I multiply them, I will get negative 84. So these are my two factors. I will write it as y minus 7 and y plus 12. In part 2, we have been given a rectangle. The length and the width has been given in y. The area of the rectangle is 84 square centimeter. Find the perimeter. To find the area of a rectangle, we need to multiply length by width. Area is 84. The length is y plus 5 and width is y. We'll expand the bracket. We'll have y square plus 5y. Bring the 84 to the other side so the equation can equal to 0. This is the same as our first part where they told us to factorize. We already know the answer. When we factorize this quadratic equation, we have y minus 7 and y plus 12 is equal to 0. Therefore, y is equal to 7 and y is equal to negative 12. Length or width cannot be negative, so this is cancelled. Therefore, y is equal to 7, and that is the width, and the length is equal to 7 plus 5, 12. To find the perimeter, we can just add all the four sides, or you can use the rule 2 bracket L plus W. Therefore, 2 is equal to 12 plus 7, 38 centimeter. In part C, in a shop, the price of a monthly magazine is $M. and the price of a weekly magazine is M minus $0.75. One day the shop receives 168 from selling monthly magazines and 207 from selling weekly magazines. The total number of these magazines sold during this day is 100. C1, show that 50m square minus 225m plus 63 is equal to 0. One monthly magazine is M dollars. One day the shop receives $168 from selling monthly magazines. To find the number of magazines sold, this monthly magazines sold on this day, you have to divide 168 by M. A weekly magazine is M minus 0.75 and the revenue received from selling weekly magazines is 207. So we'll divide 207 by M minus 0.75. When you add this, you will get the total number of magazines sold, which is 100. It's an algebraic fraction. To solve an algebraic fraction, you need to have a common denominator. Multiply by M minus 0.75, both the numerator and the denominator here, and multiply by M, both the numerator and the denominator here. We have 168 multiplied by M minus 0.75 plus 207 multiplied by M over M bracket M minus 0.75 is equal to 100. Now we'll move the denominator to the other side. It will become multiplication. Therefore, 100 multiplied by M bracket M minus 0.75. Expanding the bracket here will give us 168M minus 126 plus 207M. 100M multiplied by M is 100M square. 100M multiplied by negative 0.75 is negative 75M. Bring everything on one side. So you will get, before that, we'll simplify here. 168 plus 207. M will give you 375M minus 126. Bring everything on one side. So 100M square minus 75 plus 375 will be negative 375 plus 126 is equal to 0. Add the like terms together. This is still not the same as this equation, but we can see this is 50 and this is 100. So if we divide by 2, we'll get the same equation. And here is the same equation as they asked us to show in the question. In 2, find the price of a monthly magazine, show all your working. So the quadratic equation which we found earlier, we have to use this to find M. You can use factorization or the quadratic formula to find M. In this case, I think factorization might be a little difficult for you. Formula is much easier. So this is the formula. Before we start, let's write down our A, B, and C. A is 50, B is negative 225, and C is 63. We just have to replace in the formula. Remember, there's a negative here. So be careful because even your B has a negative. Negative 225 square, put a bracket whenever you square. 50 over 63 divided by 2 multiplied by 50. This is what we will get. Now M can either equal to 225 plus square root 38025 over 100, which will give us 4.2. Or it could equal to 225 minus square root 38025 over 100, which will give us 0.3. It could be this answer or this answer. How do we check? We have two equations with M. One is the monthly one, one is the weekly one. So you have M and M minus 0.75. If you substitute M with 0.3, you will get a negative answer and cost cannot be negative. Therefore, this has been cancelled. The answer is $4.2. $4.20. We have been given a pentagon and angle ACB is 90 degrees and angle AED is 90 degrees. Triangle ACD is an equilateral triangle with side length 12. So this is going to be 12 and this is going to be 12. DE is equal to BC. DE is equal to BC and it's equal to 6 centimeters. Calculate angle BAE. This is what we need to find. Because triangle ACD is an equilateral triangle, each angle will equal to 60 degrees. So this is 60 degrees. Now we have to find this angle and this angle. To find angle EAD, let's see what we have. This is the angle and we have the opposite. So we will write opposite and this side is opposite the right angle. So that is your hypotenuse. We'll be using sine. A is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, which is 6 over 12. Therefore, A is equal to sine inverse 6 over 12. It will give you 30. Therefore, this is 30. Now for the other angle, angle BAC. Again, look what you have. You have opposite and this side is adjacent. Opposite over adjacent means you're going to use 10. Therefore, A is equal to 10 inverse 6 over 12. 26.56, we'll round it to 26.6. So this is 26.6. Therefore, angle BAE is equal to 30 plus 60 plus 26.6, which is 116.6 degrees. I hope all of you know how to find your trigonometric identities. Sine, to find sine, it is opposite over hypotenuse. So, to find cos, it is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is ka. And to find tan, opposite over adjacent. Remember it as soka toa, soka toa. In part 2, calculate AB. So this is AB. When two sides are given to you and you want to find the third side, we use the Pythagoras theorem. The Pythagoras theorem is a square plus b square is equal to c square, where c is your hypotenuse. In this triangle, AB is your hypotenuse. The side opposite to your right angle is your hypotenuse. Remember a simple rule whenever you want to find the hypotenuse. So if you want to find hypotenuse, you are going to square root and square whatever numbers that you have. We will get 13.416. We can round it to one decimal, 13.4. To calculate AE, AE is a side, hypotenuse is 12 and the other side is 6. If the hypotenuse is given to you, if hypotenuse is given, we write the hypotenuse, which is 12 square, minus the side, and we square root the answer. So you will do, 12 square minus 6 square, and we will get 10.39. You can round it to one decimal, which is 10.4 centimeter. We have to calculate the area of the pentagon. There are three triangles, so we'll divide it into three parts. Area 1, 2, and 3. Area 1, the triangle is a right angle triangle. So we can use the rule half times base times height. The base is 6 and the height is 10.4. This will give us 31.2 square meter. In area 2, we have an angle given which is 60. It's not a right angle triangle. You can use the area of a triangle, the other formula, half AP sine C. A and B are your sides and C is your included angle. So half times 12 times 12 times sine 60. 62.35. We can round it to one decimal, 62.4 square centimeter. The third area is again a right angle, so we'll use half times base times height. The base is 6 and the height is 12. This will give us 36 square centimeter. So the total area of the pentagon is equal to 31.2 plus 62.4 plus 36, 129.6 square centimeter. In this part of the question, we have been given a cuboid. Write down the number of planes of symmetry of this cuboid. The number of planes of symmetry of a cuboid is 3. You can see that we can divide it into like this, or like that, or from the middle we can cut it into 2 parts. So there are total 3 planes of symmetry. In part 2, calculate the angle between the diagonal AR and the plane BCRQ. So this is the diagonal AR and this is the plane BCRQ. You have to find the angle between the diagonal and the plane. This angle ABR is 90 degrees, okay? And also angle BCR is 90 degrees. To find this angle, you have one side, you need to find an other side. To find RB, you will use the Pythagoras theorem. Because it's a right angle triangle, if 2 sides are given and you want to find the third side, we use the Pythagoras theorem. Therefore, RB is equal to 5 square plus 4 square. It will give us 6.4. So the side here is 6.4. Let's draw a triangle on the side that you understand it. This is AB and R. We need to find R. This is right angle. AB is 8 centimeter. BR we found is 6.4. So what trigonometric identity can we use? We have the opposite of the angle. We need to find we have the opposite and we have the adjacent. If you have the opposite and the adjacent, it means we can use 10. Therefore, 10R is equal to 8 over 6.4. And R is equal to 10 inverse 8 over 6.4. Let's see what we get. 51.3 degrees. So that is the angle R. In part A, we have been given a cylinder. Water flows through a cylindrical pipe at a speed of 8 centimeter per second. The radius of the circular cross-section is 1.5 centimeter and the pipe is always completely full of water. Calculate the amount of water that flows through the pipe in 1 hour. Give your answer in liters. The first thing you should know is the equation for finding the amount of water that flows, or the flow rate. Water flow rate is equal to area of the cross section multiplied by the speed of the water. We have a circle here, so we have to find the area of the cross section by using pi r square, and then multiply the speed of water by the speed that is given here, 8 centimeter per second. Our r is 1.5 centimeter, so we square it, multiply by 8. But this is per second, and they want it in hour. So in 1 hour there are how many minutes? 60 minutes. And how many seconds in the minute? 60. This answer, we will write it, we'll get 203575.2. But this is in cubic centimeter. We have to change it to liters, so we divide by 1000. That will give us 203.57 liters. We can round it to 3 significant figures, 204 liters. Okay, so in this question we have been given 3 solids, cone, sphere and hemisphere. The base radius of the cone is 6 centimeter and the slant height is 12 centimeter. The radius of the sphere is x and the radius of the hemisphere is y centimeter. The total surface area of each solid is the same. Show that the total surface area of the cone is 108 pi square centimeter. The curved surface area of a cone with radius r and slant height L is A is equal to pi RL. A cone has two areas. One is the curved surface area and the circle which is down. So the total surface area is equal to the curved area, which is pi RL, plus the circle that we have below here, pi r square. Replace the values you got. R is 6 and length is 12, plus pi into 6 square. And that will give us 108 pi square centimeter. In 2, we have to find the value of x and the value of y. The surface area of a sphere with radius r, they've also given us the formula. We need to remember that the total surface area of each solid is the same. The surface area, as we already know, is 108 pi, and the formula to find it is 4 pi r square. Our radius is x. We want to make r the subject, so 108 pi divided by 4 pi. There's a square, so we will write it as a square root. And the answer is 5.196. We can write it as 5.2. Therefore, x is 5.2. To find the area of the hemisphere, we have to divide the sphere by 2. So 4 pi r square divided by 2, plus we have a circle, which is pi r square. This will give us 108 pi plus 2 pi r square plus pi r square. When you add it together, you'll have 3 pi r square. Moving the 3 pi here, we'll be left with r square, and 108 pi divided by 3 pi square root the answer is equal to r, and r is equal to 6. R in the case of the hemisphere is equal to y. Therefore, x is equal to 5.2 and y is equal to 6 centimeters. This is a matrix question. We have been given 3 matrices. For the following calculations, put a tick if it is possible or put a cross if it is not possible. There is no need to carry out any of the calculations. These lines here, horizontal lines, are called rows. The vertical lines are called columns. When you want to describe a matrix, you will describe it by rows multiplied by column. So this is a 1 by 2 matrix. Again, there are certain rules that you need to follow that will govern whether you can add or subtract a matrix or multiply. This is the rule. When two matrices have the same number of rows and columns, they can be added or subtracted. So this has 2 by 2 matrix. This is a 2 by 2 matrix, so they can be added or subtracted. When the number of columns in the first matrix equals the number of rows in the second, only then multiplication is possible. It means, let's write this down. This is the number of rows and number of columns, number of rows and number of columns, number of rows and number of column. If the number of rows in the second one is the same as the number of column in the first one, then the multiplication is possible. So let's start. N plus P. N plus P, can you add or subtract it? No, you cannot, because they do not have the same dimensions. So this is cancelled. N multiplied by P, can you multiply N by P? Yes, because you can, because the number of columns is the same as the number of rows of the second. M square, you can. N square, N multiplied by N. If you multiply N by N, you will have 1 by 2. And the number of columns and the number of rows are not the same, so you cannot multiply. M by N, you cannot, and N multiplied by M is possible. In part 2, work out half plus P. The P matrix is 4, 1, 1 plus 4, 5, 2 plus 1, 3. In part 3, work out Pn. So P multiplied by N. Let's write down the matrix. And when you are multiplying a 1 by 2 and 2 by 1 matrix, the first thing you will do is multiply 4 with 1, which is 4, and then 4 with 2, which is 8, and then 1 by 1 and 1 by 2. So this is your answer. In part 4, work out the matrix inverse. To find the inverse, we change the positions of A and D and change the signs of B, C, and outside the bracket we do 1 over the determinant. Determinant is A multiplied by D minus B multiplied by C. So this is our matrix that we have to find the inverse of. The first, let's find the determinant. 2 multiplied by 3, 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, minus 4 multiplied by 1. And we are going to change the positions of 2 and 3. So it will be 3 here and 2 here, and change the signs of -1 and -4. So your answer is half, 3 -4, -1, 2. Next question, describe fully the single transformation represented by the matrix 0, -1, 1, 0. There's a formula sheet in which you can memorize and know the different types of matrices and what transformation they represent. This here is a rotation, and the center of rotation is origin, which is 0, 0. It's 90 degrees anti-clockwise. Part A of the next question. Find the equation of the straight line that is perpendicular to the line y is equal to half x plus 1 and passes through the point 1, 3. The equation of the line is y is equal to mx plus c. And in this equation, m means the gradient and c is the y-intercept. In this equation, your m, or the gradient, is half. If two lines are perpendicular, then your gradient is -1 over m, or an easier way to know it is the gradient of the perpendicular line will be flipped over. This gradient, you flip it over. So 1 over 2 will become 2 over 1, and change the sign. This is plus, make it minus. -2 over 1 is -2, so that is your gradient. Y, m, and x. You have got all these three terms. You need to find your c. Replace y with 3, gradient with -2, and x with 1. This is the point we are using. The -2 when it comes there will become +2. 3 plus 2 is c, 5. After you find your m and your c, we just replace it in the equation of the line. So y is equal to -2x plus 5. This is an inequality question, and we have to find the three inequalities that define the region R. You know that this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis. So there are three lines given, 1, 2, and 3. We'll start with this line. This is the y-axis, and the region which it defines is, this line is y is less than or equal to 5. The other one is the straight line, which is x is equal to 2. We have x is more than or equal to 2. Now we have to find the equation of this line. There is a way to find the equation of line. We need the gradient, we need the y-intercept. But this particular question, it's much easier. We can do it directly. I'll show you the other way also. Let's look at the x value. When x is 2, y is 1. When x is 4, y is 2. So we can understand that y is equal to half x, but we don't want the equal sign, we want the inequality sign. Choose a test point from the region. Choose any point which you find easy. I'll choose 3 and 3. So when x is 3, y is 3. Replace the x with 3. This is 3, and this, when you put in the calculator, is 1.5. This is your y value, this is your x. So y is more than or equal to 1.5. Therefore, you have your equation, y is more than or equal to half x. If you were solving it in another way and you didn't understand by looking at the points, you have to find the gradient, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and choose 2 points from the line. I'm choosing 0, 0 and 2, 1. So these are my 2 points, 0, 0 and 2, 1. Now replace it in place of y minus 0 and 2 minus 0. That will give you half. After you find your gradient, substitute in y is equal to mx plus c to find your c. Better to use 0 and all, it's much easier to solve. So we can see that c is 0. Now again, when we replace in y is equal to mx plus c, you will have y is equal to half x. This is the other way of finding the equation of line. Next question. Find the point xy with integer coordinates. Integer coordinates means full numbers, positive or negative, inside the region R such that 3x plus 5y is equal to 35. One way is to do trial and error methods. Which points are available here? Inside the region which are integers, there is 3, 2, there is 3, 3, there is 3, 4. It will take time. The other way is to draw the line. When you want to draw a line put x is equal to 0. So you will have 3 times 0 plus 5y is equal to 35. 0 will get cancelled. Y is equal to 35 divided by 5, which is 7. So when x is 0, y is 7. That is on the y-axis. And for the other part, we'll make y is equal to 0. When y is 0 is equal to 35, so x is equal to 35 divided by 3. That will give us 11.7 when we round it to one decimal place. Now we will mark it here and we will draw the two lines. We'll connect the two lines, points together to get a line. We have drawn the line and the point, which is an integer inside the region, is x is 5 and y is 4. Now we have a function question. F of x and g of x is given to us. Find g of g2. So the first thing we do is move from inside out. First we'll find g of 2. G of 2 is, in place of x, we will substitute 2. 2 squared plus 1, 5. After you get this answer, again there's a g, so g of g2 will be, in place of x, now substitute 5. And the answer is 26. Next question, find g of x plus 2, giving your answer in its simplest form. So we will replace x with x plus 2. And there is a square, so it will become x plus 2 square plus 1. We have to expand the bracket. Expanding the bracket is something you're going to be doing till you finish your school. So it's very important that you learn the identities. A plus b square is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. In this case, x is your a and b is your 2. So that will give us x squared plus 4x plus 4 plus 1. And we will have x squared plus 4x plus 5. If you don't understand expanding the bracket with the identity, then you can write it twice and then expand it. X multiplied by x, x squared. X multiplied by 2, 2x plus 2x, and 2 multiplied by 2, 4. X squared plus 2x plus 4. In part 3, find x when f of x is equal to 7. So f of x will make it equal to 7. Therefore, 2x minus 3 is equal to 7. 2x is equal to 7 plus 3. 2x is equal to 10. Therefore, x is equal to 10 divided by 2, 5. In part 4, find the inverse of f. F of x is equal to 2x minus 3. When you want to find the inverse, change the f of x to y. And then remember that you have to make x the subject. The negative 3 when you bring to this side will become positive 3 divided by 2. Your subject should always be on your left hand side. So x is equal to y plus 3 over 2. Now that you have simplified it and your x is alone, replace the x with f inverse x and change the y to x plus 3 over 2. So that's your inverse of f. B h of x is equal to x to the power of x and x is more than 0. In 1, calculate h 0.3. Give your answer correct to 2 decimal place. So we have to find h of 0.3. It means we'll replace both the x's with 0.3. And we'll get 0.696. But we want it to 2 decimal place. So this is the second decimal place we wanted to round it up. If the number after is 5 or more, you have to add 1 to the number that you are rounding. So it will become 10, which will give us 0.70. If you write only 0.7, you will not get your mark because they set 2 decimal place. So even if it's a 0, you need to write it down. B2, find x when h of x is equal to 256. So you need to find a number that when you when you raise it to the power of the same number, you get 256. This is like a trial and error method. You can try 2 to the power of 2, 3 to the power of 2, which is 3, which is 27, 4 to the power of 4, which is 256. So therefore 4 to the power of 4 is 256. X is equal to 4.